So I'd like to thank our reader, Robin by Carpenter Briscoe, for the wonderful reading today, and Gary Lynn Floyd for the special music, as well as our CSL music team for their beautiful music. We're in week 14 of our series on This Thing Called You, a chapter about becoming aware of who we're being, aware of all the different veils under which we spent years hiding our light, hiding from whatever we fear, hiding from whatever we dare not risk. Today, we raise those veils and step fully into all we can be. We've covered a lot of ground already. And last week at Easter, we talked about rising up in hope. You know, when we do that, we step into being much more aware of the one life and embracing it on a multitude of levels. One way we can do that is by releasing the veils that we've built up as walls around our true self. Our topic today, raising the veils. We read in the Bible in Colossians 3:14, and above all these put on love, which binds everything together in perfect harmony. Can you imagine a world in which everyone put on love instead of pretenses and veils that hide their true self? Which, by the way, our true self is love. So I'm going to ask you your question for today. What's the one choice that you can make today to raise your veils, to get out of your own way and allow all that is right within you to express fully as the Spirit I am? One more time. What's the one choice you can make today to raise your veils, to get out of your own way and allow all that is right within you to express fully as the Spirit I am? I've been thinking a lot lately about the things we hide. We humans are very adept at hiding. You agree? It sometimes seems like a necessary survival skill in a world that is like our world today. And we laugh at little kids who so often say exactly what they're thinking, minus any filters that we accumulate over time. Yet as we grow up, we learn that saying what we really think can be dangerous. We know that revealing who we really are can lead to getting wounded, that it might open us to ridicule or misunderstanding. We know in our professional and social lives that they often depend on us keeping some things tucked safely away, never to be exposed to the scrutiny of others. You know, people sometimes tell me that I'm very vulnerable in the way that I speak, and I'm really open in what I reveal. Well, that might be true, but I'm here to tell you it's only up to a point. There are obviously parts of myself that I would never reveal in a Sunday message, and I don't always say exactly what I'm thinking because I know it's risky or possibly hurtful. We all hide parts of ourselves from others every day, sometimes in ways we're barely even aware of. The human story is a story of hiding. In the Bible, it doesn't even take 3 chapters for hiding to make an appearance. What's the first thing that Adam and Eve do after their famous transgression? They hide. When they hear the sound of the Lord God as he's walking in the garden in the cool of the day, they hide among the trees of the garden. In Genesis 3:8-10, it's written, when God called and asked, "Where are you?" Adam answered, "I heard you in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, so I hid." I was afraid. I hid. And the fear and the hiding has continued unabated ever since. A lot of us learn through the years to avoid things or to be limited in our disclosures about who we are or who we'd like to be. We often do this to avoid criticism or being hurt. And yes, we spend a lifetime hiding, building up covers to who we are, shields and masks, veils that create a false sense of who we are. And today, I'm going to invite you to embrace all aspects of who you are, even the shadow side. Now, the masks that people wear are real. It's evident. There's that fake laugh that explodes from a person who tries to look good in front of a superior at the office. Or the girl that goes out of her way to look thin just because she thinks that's the way society will accept her, even though deep down, she really would love to be devouring that Haagen-Dazs ice cream every once in a while. It's evident in couples that scream at each other when they're in their own home, but out in public, they're all sweet and nice to each other. And it's also evident in people's whose hearts are really truly breaking, and someone asks them, "How are you?" And they say, "I'm fine." It's as if there's a new universal definition for fine that says, "I'm in a total state of misery." Have you ever seen a friend of yours do something that actually shocked you at your very core? Something that made you think, "I thought I knew that person. I can't believe they just did that." And do you think any of your friends have had the same surprise at some time about you? Perhaps yes, perhaps no. Ernest Holmes tells us, there is a power within you to create the life you want. So how do we go about creating the life we want when we're constantly living in a skin that doesn't seem to fit us? When we're hiding behind some veils, some lies about the existence and the essence of who we really are. Today, our message is about taking time to notice where we're building up those veils, where we've decided life is unsafe or scary, so we hide behind something or someone whom we might see as stronger. We're reading chapter 14 of this thing called You this week, and in it, Holmes wrote this: because you are an individual with volition, you can, as it were, hang a curtain between your physical life and its spiritual cause. Spiritual realization helps to withdraw this curtain. That last sentence, spiritual realization helps to withdraw this curtain, is calling us to raise the veils we've placed between us and the divine, between who we are and who we pretend to be. I know I've used this quote of Jean Houston before, but it's so apropos for today's message that I'm using it again. We all have the extraordinary coded within us, waiting to be released. The extraordinary, waiting to be released. What are we waiting for? The truthful answer is, for most of us, fear. Fear of failure, fear of success, fear of loss, fear of power, even fear of getting everything we might want. Hey, I was afraid of power. When I was in ministry school and had to do an exercise, we were supposed to walk among the trees and just ask for what was our strength. What did God want us to know about ourselves? And the word that came to me was power. I didn't want power. I didn't like that word. I had seen power as misuse of somebody's strengths. So a group of us had gone to Santa Barbara to do some shopping, and I was telling my friends, I don't really want to go back and have to talk about what word we got, because my word was power, and I don't see power as any part of me. And they both started laughing at me. And they said, Larry, are you kidding? We see you as very powerful. So we had a whole conversation about all the meanings of power. And I began to embrace it, but still was a little bit leery. So it's interesting how we place veils on ourselves, and we don't want certain things to happen, or we don't want to be a certain way. And I love that Gary's song, In the Name of Love, reminds us that when the veils are gone, there's only one of us. And when we remember the oneness, there's absolutely nothing to fear. I wonder how many of you have seen a TV show or a movie where there was a big unveiling of a statue, and there were lots of people, lots of fanfare, excitement around it. Sometimes the people were amazed, sometimes they weren't pleased. I'm going to invite you right now to think of your raising of your own veils as an exciting event in your life, in which everyone in attendance is pleasantly surprised at the beauty of what is revealed. Think about Shakespeare's famous words, "To thine own self be true." Ernest Holmes in Love and Law wrote this: "There is something right within you and within me that is awaiting expression. And what we must learn to do is to get out of the way and let it express itself. Withdraw to ourselves, receive and distribute this spirit." Get out of the way, withdraw to ourselves. If you were to withdraw to yourself right now, do you even know who you really are? What if I asked the question, who are you? How would you answer it? Would you tell me your name? Would you say what you do for a living? Who you are in relationship to someone else? All of those are aspects of you, but none of them define you. Who am I? It's a very difficult and yet a simple question. The key to the answer is this: you are the I am. And as Holmes said, all you need to do is get out of the way and let it express yourself. Receive and distribute that spirit. It's sometimes the getting out of the way that can be the most difficult. I know I like to think I'm in control of my life. And I would like to wake up every day to all the wonders that exist within me. In this week's chapter, Holmes wrote, "Life may have given everything to you, but only that which you accept is yours to use." Only that which you accept is yours to use. What are you waiting for? Why not accept all that's given us? Why not release those veils that we're hiding under and accept everything? There once was a pregnant lion, and she was on her last legs of life, and she died giving birth to her cub. The newborn didn't know what to do, so he wandered into a nearby field, and he mingled with a herd of sheep. Well, there was a mother sheep who saw the cub and decided to raise it as her own. Now, as the lion cub grew up among the other sheep, it started thinking and acting just like a sheep. It bleated like a sheep, and it ate grass like a sheep. But it was never truly happy. For one, it always felt like there was something missing. And another thing, the other sheep constantly ridiculed it for being so different. They would say, "You're so ugly, and your voice sounds so weird. Why can't you bleat properly like the rest of us? You're a disgrace to the sheep community." Well, the little cub would just stand there and listen to all of these remarks and feel extremely sad. It felt it let down the sheep community by being so different, and it felt like it was a waste of space. And then, one day, an elderly lion from a far-off jungle saw the herd of sheep and decided to attack it. While he was attacking, he noticed the young lion cub, and the cub was running away with the rest of the sheep. Curious as to why that was happening, the older lion decided to stop chasing the sheep and pursue the younger lion. It pounced on the cub and growled, asking it why it was running away. Well, the young cub shook in fear. He says, "Please don't hurt me. I'm just a young sheep. Please let me go." Well, upon hearing this, the older lion growled again. "That's nonsense. You're not a sheep. You're a lion, just like me." But the younger lion just kept saying, "I know I'm a sheep. Please let me go." Well, at this point, the older lion decided, "I have an idea." He dragged the young lion to a nearby river and asked it to look at its reflection in the river. Upon looking at the reflection, the young lion, much to its astonishment, realized who it really was. It wasn't a sheep. It was a mighty lion. The young lion felt so thrilled that it let out a mighty roar. And the roar echoed around all the corners of the jungle, even frightening the daylights out of the sheep community that he had grown up with. So they all fled away. No longer would the sheep be able to make fun of the lion, or even stand close to it for that matter, because it had found its true nature and its true herd. We don't all have the experience of being raised by a group of people and feeling different because of being of a different breed. Even though that's not the case, we've all felt a bit like that lion cub at some point in our life, feeling like we just didn't exactly fit in, right? The interesting question is, what do you do when that happens? Do you try to fit in? Or do you seek out the essence of who you are? If we let go of fear and embrace believing that we're magnificent just the way we are, then we can raise our veils. If you did the reading this week, you might have noticed that Holmes told us that everyone is a son of God, but only a few have completely recognized this. What does it take for you to believe in your own magnificence, to actually completely recognize yourself as the Son of God? In the Course in Miracles in chapter 9, it states, "It's impossible not to have, but it's possible not to know you have." I didn't know I had for a long time. So one of the things I noticed about my own veils is, like you'll hear Gary singing about later, sometimes I painted myself into a corner by trying to make something work that wasn't working. Why did I do it? I wanted other people to like me. And that used to be more important to me than being who I really was. Now, the key words there are used to be. I now embrace that first part of the Course in Miracles. It is impossible not to have. And I finally come to realize when I feel a need to hide a veil, it says that I don't believe that who I am is good enough or smart enough or pretty enough or whatever you want to put in the blank. The bottom line is this. At some level, every veil shouts, I don't believe I'm worthy. Think about that for a minute. Hello, child of God here. Do I really believe Spirit could make me wonderful and magnificent? Yes, I imagine there's still some residual dusty veils hanging around in some crevices of my being. And for the most part, I would say that at this point in my life, I'm fairly aware of who I am and generally willing to be that person. No morphing from one personality to the next. How do you do it? What does it take? Courage of your own convictions and believing that you are magnificent and that you are wonderful. You might remember recently I said in the philosophy of Jesus that Jesus knew that one man with God was a majority. I want to repeat the quote that was so essential to that knowledge. Jesus had access to some kind of power that was available for every purpose. He had access to an intelligence that guided him in everything he did. And he had a deep inward peace and feeling of security that removed all confusion and doubt and uncertainty from his mind. What if you decided that up until now, you hid parts of you, and moving forward, you were going to be open, not in a cruel or uncaring way, but real. Be the one true self that you are. Finding that deep inner peace and feeling of security in who you are and living that, not a replica or a fake imitation. And by the way, be gentle with yourself if you make that declaration when you allow veils to actually show up. Emily Cady in Lessons for Truth reminds us that our place of peace and security is ours alone. Here's what she had to say. It is a sacred place because it is a place of meeting between the Christ at the center of your being and your consciousness. A hidden place into which no outside person can either induct you or enter himself. We must drop the idea that this place of realization of our divinity can be given to us by any human being. No one can come into it from the outside. Now, we might not have that old lion to come bring us to the water to show us our divine reflection. It's our job to raise all the veils so we can have that meeting place between our consciousness and the Christ at the center of our being. Our realization of the I am is an inward job and our most holy place. So I want to end with this passage that, yes, once again, is one of my favorite from the book. It seems to sum up the message today. I realize that there is a divine presence at the center of my being. I let this recognition flow through my entire consciousness. I let it reach down into the depths of my being. I rejoice in this realization. The perfect life of God is in and through me in every part of my being. I invite you to remember the loving Spirit dwells in you. And the perfect life of God is in and through every part of your being. And when we remember that, what would be the point of hiding behind any veils? So in summary, how might you raise your veils? Remember, you first have to notice the veils you've accumulated. The extraordinary coded within you is waiting to be released. Tear down any fear of getting exactly what you want. Enjoy your surprising unveiling. Remember that you are the I am. Distribute all of who you are to the world that's just awaiting the unveiling. And believe you are magnificent. Know you have all you could ever imagine wanting. So have the courage of convictions. Be you. The perfect life of God is in every part of your being. So here's your affirmation for the week. How is it I so easily and willingly make the choice today to raise my veils, to get out of my own way, and to allow all that is right within me to express fully as the Spirit I am. And I challenge you this week to raise your veils. Write that affirmation to remind yourself that you're worthy, magnificent, beautiful, whatever it takes to embrace the real you. Observe yourself around others this week and notice, when are you putting up a veil? When are you not being authentic? Check in a couple times a day to see how you're doing and remind yourself, raise those veils that have popped up. You are the perfect light of God in every part of your being. Let's pray. We take a deep, nourishing breath. And we just settle into that place within us where we know the essence of who we are. That place within us where we feel that peace. There is no confusion about who we are and what our values are. And we know that that is the place in which our consciousness and the Christ come together. That place of love and joy and peace and ease and all of those qualities of the divine that live right within us. And what I know to be the truth today is that each of us are going to be spending some time this week thinking about the veils that we've accumulated and how we might get rid of them. Enjoying that unveiling, enjoying that opportunity to be exactly who we are, and know that we have that mighty roar that is waiting to come out because of who we are. So I am so grateful. I'm grateful for the time that you spent with us together. I'm grateful for knowing that the God without is the God within each of us. Spirit indeed dwells in each of us. And so it's from that gratitude that I release these words into the law of mind, spirit, and action, knowing that the divine has already said yes, already called all of this good. So I can say amen, and we can affirm it together. And so it is. And I want to thank everyone for their continuing to contribute. We're in the process of getting a new computer finally. And I am just so grateful to this community for all of your support, your financial support, your emotional support, coming up and showing up to help. Thank you so very much. Enjoy our offertory song.